September 27th, 2026. A calm, quiet morning in Tehran. Everything looked normal. People going to work, traffic moving, just another day. But behind the scenes, something big was already in motion. Right in the heart of the capital, inside a heavily secured government building, Iran's top leaders were in a high-level meeting. And at that exact moment, some of the world's most powerful intelligence agencies had their eyes locked on that building. Why? Because they believed Iran's supreme leader was inside. At first, it started with unusual movement. U.S. intelligence picked up signs, high-profile figures coming and going. That data quickly shared with Israel. And just like that, a joint covert operation kicked off. This wasn't a war that started with explosions. It started with information. For months, they had been trying to break into Iran's communication systems, satellite surveillance, hacked CCTV feeds, deep intelligence analysis. Piece by piece, they were tracking the movement of top leaders. The goal wasn't to strike immediately. First, they needed to be 100% sure. Meanwhile, Iran believed its defenses were solid. Advanced air defense systems, radar coverage across the capital. From the outside, it looked untouchable. But in modern warfare, once your movements are exposed, even the safest place becomes vulnerable. Tehran had no idea. Life was going on like usual, but in the shadows, the war had already begun. Phase 2. The setup. Once surveillance was complete, the operation moved to its most critical stage. And here's the twist. The plan wasn't to eliminate the target right away. Instead, they wanted to overload Iran's defenses first, create chaos, force the system to react everywhere so it couldn't react where it mattered most. Decoy strikes began, explosions in multiple locations, confusion spreading across defense units, Iran's air defense getting stretched thin. And then it happened. Around 200 fighter jets launched from US and Israeli positions. This wasn't a warning shot anymore. This was a full-scale, coordinated strike. But inside the city, most people still didn't get it. Distant explosions? They thought it was just another escalation. They had no idea. The real target was getting closer. The critical moment. Inside that secured complex, something went wrong. According to security protocols, the leadership should have been in a deep underground bunker, but they weren't. They were in a shallower facility. Maybe they underestimated the threat. Maybe there wasn't enough time to move. But that one decision changed everything. All the gathered intelligence finally aligned. Analysts confirmed the target was there. And within moments, the operation entered its final phase. Impact. The sky lit up. Massive explosions ripped through the area. Layered defenses collapsed. What was once considered an untouchable stronghold turned into rubble in seconds. Inside, no one had time to react. Everything changed instantly. Experts later said if they had moved deeper underground, the outcome might have been different. But in modern warfare, a few minutes can rewrite history. Aftermath. At first, silence. Heavy, suffocating silence. Smoke covered the center of Tehran. Rescue teams rushed in, but it didn't take long to realize this wasn't just an attack. This was a precision operation, a strike aimed directly at the highest level of leadership. Several top military and security officials were killed. Security personnel, staff, casualties everywhere. What was supposed to be a meeting about national security turned into ground zero. The bigger picture. Across Iran, shock turned into anger.
Political leaders called it a violation of sovereignty. And for the people of Tehran, that day changed everything because they realized something chilling. War is no longer limited to borders. If the most secure place in a country can be hit, then nowhere feels truly safe. Final thought. History has shown us you can strike leaders, but breaking a nation's spirit, that's a whole different story. Sometimes attacks like this don't end resistance, they create it. And that day in Tehran wasn't just destruction, it was the beginning of something bigger. Tension, uncertainty, and possibly the next chapter of conflict. Because a strike may last minutes, but its echo can live on for years.